We call this meeting to order. I'd ask our superintendent, Lisa, in our invocation and pledge.
Yes, stand with me, please. Heavenly Father, as we come to you tonight, we come to you always asking that you just bestow upon us guidance and wisdom. As we deliberate about our students and our staff, we ask that you just help us keep you first and foremost. Lord, we know that how blessed we are to live here in Levy County, and we're so thankful for that. But we lift up those that are dealing with sickness. We lift up the Hicks family that has lost their patriarch, and we know how that touches our district and others that have lost loved ones. We ask all these things in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Press the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If y'all will look on the agenda, we need to pull the Central Florida College contract for separate discussion. We are going to move that to item J and renumber accordingly after that. And with that being said, I will accept a motion to adopt our agenda.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This time we'd like to welcome any visitors we have or any comments need to be brought before the board. Do we have any emails that have come in?
Yes, sir.
Anything? Is anyone here that's not on the program for tonight that needs to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move on to our school presentation and call on, I'm assuming we're going to call on Ms. Corbin.
Oh.
Your name is on the thing, and
Right.
and if I may say, let me rephrase that. Let me call on Bronson High School graduate Miss Katie Corbin to present to us because we wanted to entrust it to one that can do it.
Wow, that's quite an intro. I just paused because I was hoping that my boss might have a moment to introduce me and I might hear one nice thing, but you know what? It's probably I'll say that.
You saved that. What?
We can get it on record.
Yes.
What's nicer than being called a Bronson Eagle?
Even better.
Good evening. I'll follow that. But today we want to kind of give you an example and show you some of the great things we got going on at Chieftain Middle High School. We've got some students from our dual enrollment SLS class that we have. It's a wonderful program that Ms. Corbin does such a fantastic job with. I know that's being recorded somewhere. But these students, I mean, both of my children have went through this program as well, and just the skills that they are taught, the skills for life, how they can handle themselves professionally through job interviews. And I think that's my favorite part is the job interviews. Probably not their favorite part, but they'll give you a little bit of information on that. But Ms. Corbin, you want to introduce your students?
I do. So I have asked 3 to come. Addison and Caroline, I call them survivors. They took the class last semester in the fall and made it through unscathed, almost. They did very well. And Hunter is still treading water. Hunter Chart is in the class now. So he has a little more to go. He has the interviews to look forward to. They have survived it. Just as a background for the class, though, SLS is a first-year seminar class that's offered through our partnership with SIA. Almost all colleges have a first-year seminar course that they offer because there's been a lot of research about stumbling blocks for college students and why they don't finish successfully. Either they ruin their academic record or they drop out for other reasons. And colleges have shared this research and they've put together some talking points and projects for kids to do to kind of force their hand to face some of these challenges ahead of time and kind of come up with some strategies through a little bit of getting pushed out of the box early and figure out how am I going to survive this when this happens, because it will happen. So I don't know who wants to go up to the podium and speak first. Hunter.
Alrighty, so my name is Hunter Sharp, and I've had the opportunity to be enrolled in Miss Katie's first year seminar class. And pretty much the first thing that I'd like to just point out about this class is it's not like just core curriculum classes that I've been in before. There's so much stuff that you can actually use in life. There's so many. That's pretty much what the class is based around. Is just the amount of stuff. Once you get out of high school, it tells you all these things about life, and after high school, into college life, and even into your careers. So that's a very important part of the class, and one thing that I've noticed for as long as I've been into it. One thing that I'd like to kind of explain, part that we do in the class is Miss Corbin's given us me personally, a very kind of a good mind of our financial situations going through and outside of high school. One thing she did, this especially helped me and kind of prepared me for life. She has this booklet that she's created for us. It's very good. I thought that the filling out checkbooks. There's even a register included. So pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to write all these checks and then register all these checks and then record your balance to record your balance. And that's just going to help you in life overall. It really helped me kind of prepare myself because going into that class, I didn't know much about, bills, finance. I know there was insurances, but I didn't really know the full scale of, how everything went, and just being able to fill out those checks, learning how to, and being able to balance my checkbook. That's just been two main things that have helped me out in that class. Also, one major thing that we've done recently, she's actually assigned us for a PowerPoint presentation. It's actually been to make our budget after high school. So we have to go through everything from our graduation all the way to the college that we were in, and then we have to find out a salary, and then kind of judge our life based on that salary. We go anywhere from our auto insurance, what we would buy, setting up a payment plan, to where we would live, renter's insurance, being able to buy or rent a place to stay, and with it being in a desirable location. So it's really helped me sort of plan out my life, even though it may be a little bit of a rough draft, kind of plan out, see where I'm going. And it's also given me a great idea of, how much money means and how much it affects the world around you. You got to be able to live within your means, and that budget's really taught me a lot about, my life and what I'm going to have to do in order to not only survive, but have a little bit extra to invest after high school. Going into it, I kind of had some plans as far as what I was going to do, but, seeing that salary and seeing all the taxes taken out and the insurance, that kind of burst my bubble, if you will, about it. But yeah, it's an amazing class. Kind of helps you out for some different stuff, especially in the financial sector, of what you're going to need in order to be successful in life. And it's really kind of broadened my horizons to maybe even some different career opportunities. So that's just one thing that I liked about the class and I found very important. But overall, I'm loving the class. I'm loving the way Ms. Corbin teaches it. I think it's an awesome opportunity, especially to get me into college and then maybe into real life as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Caroline Japansky and I'm a junior at Chiefville Middle High School. So I actually took SLS with Miss Katie Corbin, the best teacher ever, my first semester of my junior year, so this year. So first, I would like to start off by talking about our interviews. The dreaded part of SLS, but I believe as challenging as it was the most turning point in my life and just my high school career thus far. So to start off, we created a budget, just as Hunter said, and then we really planned out what our career would be, what college we'd want to go to. We really narrowed down and focused on the tiny details that you may have not thought of before. So then after that, we had a job interview that we had to prepare for. So that was very challenging because we did not know who the interviewer would be. We did not know exactly what questions we would be asked. We just simply knew our job and what we wanted to do. So that took a lot of self-motivation to really prepare for that job interview. So going in, it felt just like this moment right here. I was really nervous and I was waiting outside the door with two other people. And then we got called in. It was very nerve-wracking. We walk in, you just had to maintain a professional attitude about yourself. So just smile, get through it. I sat down, talked with the interviewer, did the best that I could, answered the questions the best that I could. And really, I think what helped me through that was just preparing. So with those interviews, I think I will take with me that in life and in school and as I further my career and just broaden my education, that I will have to always be prepared, because you never know what you're going to be asked or never know what you're going to be faced with. So in addition to those awesome interviews, I would just like to point out how this class is specifically different from other high school classes and college classes. So this year with COVID-19, you know, a lot of our classes were online. So this was my first year as a dual enrollment student. So SLS was actually an amazing opportunity, because not only was it, like Hunter said, further than just a core curriculum class, but you also were able to interact with others. And I think that was the main reason that I really enjoyed SLS. You constantly got to hear other people's perceptions and views about things, and you were always learning from each other and listening to each other's opinions. So I think that just discussing every day far beyond just what you were learning was a really great part of SLS, and I'm so thankful that I took this class, because even to this day I still look back to many of the packets and just even the SAT dates, ACT dates that we learned about. And yes, I'm so thankful for this opportunity to take it with Miss Katie Corbin.
Okay, my name is Addison Baker. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for helping us prepare for life and for all of our future classes that we didn't know it was going to be this hard, or that college in general was going to be this hard. But so thank you for that. One of the things I really enjoyed about SLS is that we had a binder, and we kept all our transcripts and our syllabuses in them, and it would help us look forward to whatever we wanted to do in our career, and it would help us kind of put what we needed left for our degree programs or whatever we wanted to do, and it would just help us kind of see what we needed left and what we had already done, which I really liked. And then another thing that I experienced through the SLS class is, because of COVID-19, the entire half of our last year was completely cut off, and we were all kind of put in this isolated environment. So as someone who already struggles with mental health, my anxiety kind of grew through being so isolated, and I went from being, in my room every day doing my classes to thrown into this crazy class with this charismatic teacher, and then I was thrown in front of the classroom and was like, okay, do these presentations, and you're like, what? What presentations are we doing? My first time, my entire face was very red and white, and I almost passed out. But it got better. I got better as I progressed. So one of the points that I was trying to make is that the SLS class really helps kids from all backgrounds and people who are struggling with things. And it kind of helps you prepare for the real life, and it helps you realize you're going through this, but you're going to get through it. And it just helps you, and I really appreciate it, and I love the class. And good luck to Hunter, who still has his interview left.
Y'all have any questions?
I just want to make a point. We're doing future scheduling for next year. Right now, we got about 50 students that have met the criteria for the scores and the GPA to dual enroll that will be entered into Ms. Corbin's class next year. So she'll have 2 sections of that.
How many students now do you have in the class?
I have 14 this semester, 24 last semester, I think.
So it's a 1 semester class.
It is, and they're always very sad when the semester ends, because you just bond so much out of all the presentations, so.
I will say that the 3 of you, and I'm sure Miss Katie's class helped with this as well, your speaking ability is fabulous. So congratulations to all of you. It is fabulous.
I want to know, Addison, what do you want to do after school?
I'd like to attend the University of Central Florida and obtain a bachelor's degree in biomedical science, and then eventually go to medical school at UCF and become either a neurologist or a neurosurgeon.
Very good. Caroline?
So after school, I first off wanted to attend the University of Georgia. Then I realized that UF would be, while still honestly harder to get into, it's more enriched with bright futures and scholarships and all of those things. So I'm hoping to attend the University of Florida, obtain my bachelor's degree in a science-related field, and then go on to become a physician's assistant. So I would have to take 2 years after my bachelor's and just focus on being.
Good. Hunter?
So I intend on, like she said, attending University of Florida and getting my bachelor's in animal science and possibly minoring in agribusiness. And from there, I'm going to go on into, and I'm going to apply for a job at Zoetis as an animal health sales representative. So that's pretty much my plan, hopefully become maybe in a management position by the time I move up in the ranks.
That's great. That's wonderful. I'm proud of all of y'all. Addison, do you think maybe you'll get a special discount or any insurance or anything?
Maybe.
Maybe so.
I don't know.
I'm just happy somebody your age still knows what a checkbook is.
And writing a
Still
check.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I did have some adults ask me, my colleagues, why are you doing that? Do people still write checks? And I said, well, I still write checks. So they're gonna learn how to write checks and balance that checkbook. They may never need it, but if they do, they've got the skill.
And
So
actually the outer balance, it's not just say what the ATM says you have for a balance.
Then they
Yes.
go down.
And I'd also like to add, when they're talking about the interviewers, it's not teachers that's doing the interviewing. Ms. Corbin reaches out, she gets business directors. Dr. Patrick Winnett's a very popular interviewer. He's really tough. And you know what? Ms. Corbin does such a great job of putting the interviewer with the interviewee, you know, and matching them up to really bring out, you know, the best of them. So Hunter, get ready. That's already been in discussion. So, but I mean, you know, she knows her kids and she knows what they need and who they need and the strengths and weaknesses. And she really, you know, pertains that to each student. So I think that's what we're doing.
Great. Y'all doing a fantastic job.
Anything else? Thank y'all very much for coming.
Thank you.
Hunter Sharp, where'd your mama graduate high school from?
I'm going to plead fifth on that one.
We know. We know. All right, we'll move on to our 2021 trim date. I'll call on Ms. Kim Lake, graduate of Bronson High School. Speak to us.
More recently, I graduated.
More recently.
But
You graduated from Bronson like 2000, right? You're so young. And then just flew through the university.
yes, Doogie Howser, right?
That's it. That's you.
No, that's not right.
That's not right. You don't think that's right? I think that's right.
All right.
We could have a reunion.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about, I guess, the trim dates first, so I can get approval on the trim calendar. I cannot believe it's already that time again.
No.
So, you all know these dates are, the timeline is born in statute, so we have a very strict timeline to adhere to. We did just do this. So these dates are placed in a specific date and time to line up with the best use of the limited time that we have for the trim schedule. It's already been approved by Department of Revenue, so it does meet those dates. So the first change would be for our proposed budget. That would be on July 22nd at 9 a.m. Let's see. And that's a Thursday. That is a Thursday, thank you. That's what I was looking
July
for.
what? I'm sorry.
The 22nd.
And that is when we would have our ads approved. And because our ads only run once a week, we have a week, I have to go a week back to get those approved to be in the next week's meeting or newspaper meeting. Our ad would run on the 29th, which is our Thursday papers once a week. And then August 3rd would be our first hearing to adopt the tentative millage and budget. At that time, it's set for 5:01. I can move it to 6 if that's what you would prefer. That is a Tuesday. September 9th, Thursday at 6 p.m. is our final hearing to adopt or to approve our 2021 AFR, annual financial report, our cost report, and then moves in to adopt the final millage and budget. That one's set at 6 versus 5:01 because the 11th is on a Saturday. So we're already pushing and accelerating our schedule by a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot. So I made that meeting as at our normal time to give us a little bit of an extra time to get everything done. Does anybody have any questions or something that you'd like changed or discuss changing?
We've always done the 501.
Yes, sir.
Why?
It has to be after 5.
Right, and why we've been doing our normal time at 6 o'clock?
Because we usually had a third meeting. We usually had a third meeting in that month, so we just did that one at 5:01. This time they fell in such a way we didn't have to have a third one in July.
Our
But
regular school board meeting is gonna start at 6.
Correct.
So we're gonna come over here for 10 minutes and then sit till 6 o'clock.
we can certainly change that to 6. That is,
It does.
If that's what you would
That
prefer,
does
then we
not
can make that.
mess with the schedule.
I moved to a minute to 6:01 or to 6.
No, you
Just
can
gotta
be
be
6.
after
You
5.
just have to be after 5.
I was gonna say, do you want to do it before the regular
It
scheduled
has
6
to
o'clock?
be, so it'll come in first and then the regular portion of the agenda will happen after.
No worries.
All right, so we will change that to 6 o'clock and then Miss Angela will go through with her process of posting some of these.
And then all the meetings will be at 6.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Except
not
for
the July
With the
22nd.
exception
but that's
of
the
22nd.
morning meeting. That's a
Correct.
morning meeting.
Yes.
Now, that's on a Thursday. That's not a normal day that we have it.
No, sir, I couldn't make them on normal days because of the way the dates fell for the trim schedule. So it's like a game of Tetris.
Now, do you need a motion from us to,
Yes, sir.
I moved that as amended.
we have a motion and a second.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
All right, and we had our financial audit of our annual financial report for 1920. And I'm happy to report there were no findings.
Excellent.
We will be moving into our financial audit for financial report for 2021 and another operational audit. You'll remember we did that 3 years ago, so I'll be coming back with whatever that report is next year. Some point next year.
Good. Great. Thank you, ma'am.
We can't just end that. You don't do with this all year long and not have some simple finding without congratulating people who worked all year long.
Well, I knew you'd do that.
Huh?
I
Yes,
knew you'd
I
do
am.
that. So.
And I know that's Miss Lake and your team.
Yes, which, and Anna Kroll plays a role in helping us put this all together. And so this would be 2 years in a row, no findings.
Those times when we talk passionately to one another is because that's the reason that.
Right,
Right.
right.
And I will add at this past week at the Finance Point 2 training, they went over this in detail and we had 6 different CFOs there as well, and they all brought the reports, some of which did not come clean. And the gentleman that had been an auditor that was up there as one of the instructors said that this coming clean is a big deal. So you all do amazing work, and the more training that I see on that side of it, it's unreal. So
Thank you.
good job.
Good job.
You should talk to Mr. Coward about the rates.
I can't fund that, I'm sorry.
These are not made.
Okay, now we'll move on to our CMHS construction update. Bringing that to us tonight is Bronson High School graduate John Lott.
That is true. We had to move that backwards, so we're gonna again show you some video. We're gonna it's the same waypoint. There's a few variances. Go ahead and run that and see. We have that road paved, which we had last time you saw that. The mountain, Mount McClellan's still there. And I apologize, this probably needs to be speeded up a little bit by now. But I do want you to notice that we have a lot of material on the side. And one of the things that we struggle with here is staging areas for these materials. The materials are, by the way, are becoming more and more difficult to obtain. So anytime we can obtain them, we need to get them and store them there. And I say we, I'm really Parrish McCall, but we're all in this together. And so you'll see as if you do tour the new campus, the construction area, you'll see a lot of material laying around. And that's because we don't want to be caught needing to put something in play and not have the material. So as much as possible, we will do that. You'll see that we now have actually metal on the roof, which is an improvement from the last time. You can barely see that Williston red, as someone called it, on the end. It's slowly becoming covered up. And probably by today, actually, it's no longer there. This picture, this particular flyover was taken Monday morning. So by now, I'm sure that none of that is visible. And you know, that may displeasure some of you, but I'm sure. So we see the cafeteria. It also has the metal roof, and I know we can't tell much about these pictures. You can stop at that point, Morgan, because most of the work at this stage is obviously being done inside. So I did go through and I did take some pictures, and he can show. He's going to kind of go through and show you. This particular picture is, and I don't know if you noticed it on the flyover, but there's a huge concrete work area outside of the agricultural complex at the end of that 400 building. And that's the kind of the foundation. They're getting ready to pour concrete. They're putting metal in that slab. And this is the side of the building. I can't remember if that's 400 or 700. I believe that's 700. Where we're finishing up the brickwork, but by now all the brickwork should be completed. They're finishing the column on the front of the cafeteria, and it's amazing to me to watch these guys work. They're fast, precise, true craftsmen, and you don't see that necessarily, I don't think, everywhere in construction, but these guys really know what they're doing. Some more of the scaffolding, the brickwork, and if you look up in the ceiling here, this is actually in the cafeteria. You can tell by the high ceilings. They're starting some of the duct work, the AC, HVAC work in there. It should be getting finished. The way that ceiling and the drop-down ceiling will be in the cafeteria, it's a little higher through the middle of the cafeteria and lower on the sides. Go ahead. This actually, I think, is a kind of interesting picture because it kind of amazed me, and I work on this stuff every day. Is that stuff that's in cardboard there is actually the kitchen vent in the inside kitchen area. It's huge. This huge exhaust fan, lights, and I don't even know. They told me how much it weighed, and I couldn't believe it. I can't wait to see it actually in play. It's going to, do a great job, I'm sure, of removing those exhaust fumes and things in the cafeteria. Go ahead. That's just another picture of the cafeteria. You can see the equipment that's out. They got the drywall, getting ready to put that up. This is actually one of the 400 building, and this is what you'll see. And I have a list of actually things they were doing, but it's easier to just show you the pictures. The electrical panels are going in. I think I may add another one. That's a major part of the project, is getting the electricity in there, and they're hoping to have the power to that building by the end of this week. I don't know if they will or not, but that's their plan anyway. Good. Okay. You see on the back wall, that's the first coat of paint for our buildings, and it won't be quite that bright by the time it's done, but it is a nice shade of Chiefland yellow or very close to that. So I think that's very fitting. You again see some of the equipment that's laying in the center of the floor ready for putting those HVAC systems together, the vents, and they're getting everything prepared to do the, once they have everything in the ceiling, the HVAC and all the venting and all the electrical and plumbing, the next step is to do the drop-down ceilings, which should be coming very soon. These pictures are actually of the mezzanine, and that's the what's happening above the regular classrooms that most kids would never see, of course. It's really amazing how large and complex just this portion of the project is. And right now, a lot of the work is being done in the mezzanine, and because that's where a majority of the HVAC work is being done, and the vents and all of the infrastructure that goes into this building. And it will be somewhat climate controlled up there when it's all done, which will help save some energy costs actually. But some of that equipment has to be climate controlled. It won't be 70 degrees up there, but it won't be 120 either. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Keep going. That just shows you how long this and how expansive this mezzanine is. And they're putting some duct work together there. Another one of the pictures of the closer picture of the paint, and that's again that outside portion of the ag where they're forming up that. Is that it? So let me see if I missed anything. I will say that over spring break we got a lot of work done over there in regard to abatement. Asbestos abatement is a serious thing we have to do. Obviously, we have to abate it before we can demolish it. It's painstaking. It takes a lot of pain, a lot of time. We have to make sure that, of course, everybody's not there. Kids can't be there. So we did a lot of this in spring break and ahead of time instead of waiting until end of school to do it. So that's got us a little bit ahead of schedule. Duke Energy worked through spring break as well to get some of the electrical transformers, because everything now will be underground for the most part. I mean, there may be one tower, one electric line coming in, but everything else will be underground, which will be a great improvement for this campus, a lot safer. So they began working on some of that, and that should be that should help get us ahead of schedule. And the site work continues on the sewer and the main fire mains and stormwater. All of that, it's about 95% complete. And I don't know if you can see from the flyover, but outside of the front parking lot, they're beginning to set the forms for the foundations for, there's going to be an overhead canopy. And so they had to set start the forms for the base for that. And so that should be coming up very soon. So they'll actually have the covered walkway in front of the school fairly soon. And I think the rest of it you saw. Again, the inside, the paint will continue. The ceiling grid will continue, and we'll have that up very, very soon. It's really going to come together very, very quickly. This past week, we've met in regard to some furniture, so we think we got that lined up. The recommendation came from Parish McCall, and we only had one, honestly, that was close to the bid, to the budget RFPs, and so it's kind of an easy choice, honestly. And today we met with AT&T on some of their logistical team to work out on how we can make sure that we maintain connectivity with the old parts of the campus once we start demolishing the parts we need to demolish. We certainly don't want half the campus to not have access to the internet or phone or fire systems and any of that stuff. And that's one of my biggest fears, is that by doing this build, demolish, build system is that somehow we lose that connectivity and it becomes too expensive and time consuming to get it back. But we spent half a day today just working on logistics and getting it done and making sure that we don't have those issues. And we also worked on how we can make the most of the equipment and furniture and things that are in the existing school that aren't going to be needed in the new school. Trying to make sure that it's available for other schools within the district. And so if they need something, here's what we have. And working on a system to not only getting it out on time, storing it and getting it to the other schools. We want to make the most of our resources, which of course, our taxpayer resources, we're trying to protect it as much as we can. That's about it. Does anybody have any questions?
Is that yellow painted wall, is that a special stock item paint, or is that normal that you?
That's actually a primer coat, but what would be the finished coat will be and I don't know if it was set up from Mr. Stockman there, but you know, the stock wall color is what it'll be, and it really will end up being more of a beige instead of that
The one we use all over the county?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I just wondered if we would get special paint.
Several different colors,
Mhm.
and we're getting it more uniform with this new school, then this is what they went with, and that's what we're gonna use. You know, as far as the.
I just wondered, I sat in a meeting when we did Williston, we went with the color that y'all stock all the time.
Yes, now
Just
that's,
make sure
that is the accent color. In the rest of the,
okay,
in the admin and the cafeteria, you will have these accent colors, and maybe one wall up high in the classrooms.
that's like those little squares that our engineer,
Yeah,
our
we don't
architect
have
over here.
But,
There will be some acoustic squares, so that's what you're asking, but not what you're referring to as far over
but the
the.
main bodies, the hallways, the main classrooms are all gonna be what you're discussing.
Yeah.
So, y'all been able to be a part of.
Yes,
Okay,
and then we were there with the colors and the carpet, the little accent walls and so it's been, yeah, great. But it's very nice and they're doing an excellent, outstanding job.
So we got
Like you
enough
said, they do get together and plan all that to try to save and keep it all running. It's good.
Yeah, we had a meeting today, we got another meeting Thursday, so it's like,
still plan on putting air conditioning in the gymnasium.
We are.
Okay, I just want to be sure. That's all the questions I have, Mr. Locke.
anything else?
Are we concerned about the uptick in construction costs, messing up the budget?
I'll tell you, we got extremely lucky, because with the timing of our project, we were ahead of the game. And so what happens when you get your contract is we've locked into those prices. So other school districts are not so lucky by getting that GMP settled on and those contracts negotiated. When we did, we got in before the price increases. Other school districts are already seeing as much as $8 million more on their project than what they originally thought it was going to be because of the increases in construction prices.
And are we concerned about availability?
Well, availability is going to be a concern. I think it's going to get better. That's why I was mentioning that we try to get that stuff in stockpile if possible. I mean, you can't put things out there that's going to, get damaged, but if at all possible, I mean, the trusses were on site forever, it seemed like, before they got placed up there, but that's just because we wanted them there. We did have some issues getting the metal roofing on time. And the subcontractor was kind of giving some excuses about why they could not get the materials. And Parrish McCall said, well, we'll get it for you. Well, it was at an increased price. Well, see, they got it, the subcontractor would have to pay that increase, not us, or it would come out of the project. And somehow, very quickly, they found the product, and it got there.
Amazing.
It's amazingly got there. So, it's funny how that stuff works. But we're working with some real professionals. I will say that real professionals And I would regress if I didn't say, Ms. Kroll in the finance department, especially Ms. Kroll, she is worth every penny we pay her as far as keeping up with the finances, because if you looked at these spreadsheets and the change orders and all these direct purchases that we're making, that's a full-time job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Has everyone had a chance to read over the minutes?
Yes.
I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes if there are no changes. Yeah, motion and a second. Any questions, any discussions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to our renumbered situation on the Central Florida contract. Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So at this time, we're presenting the College Central Florida agreement. And we've had the opportunity to kind of go back and forth with the college on a few things, and some things we were able to get in our favor and some things we were not. So one of the things that I would point out that CF at the start of this past school year, and even as early as probably February, CF was wanting to bring Ms. Corbin's college success class back on campus to the CF Center over in Fanning Springs. And they see the value of what Ms. Corbin brings. And so with that, we were able to continue to have that class next year. We'll have 2 sections of that class on Chiefland's campus instead of it being over with a different instructor. So there's always things that we'd love to have differently. But we also have a new point of contact who Mr. Lott has had some conversations with, started, I believe, last Thursday. So look forward to working with our new contact at CF.
College success class, is that the same with SLS? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract.
So
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to just say a few things about the contract. This is something that I have researched and compared other similar counties that Central Florida has agreements with, even as a parent, way before I became a board member. I did put forth, when I saw this on the agenda last meeting, some ideas, concerns, and I received some feedback, of course, through our district, employees reaching out to the Central Florida. And I just received that tonight, so I have a little bit more research to do on that. I feel that right now, I think Central Florida and our district, I think we could probably, there's give and take there, but I think that they're taking a little bit more than what they need to, and I think they could give a little more. I think it will benefit our students in the long run, just based on personal experiences in the past. Students that I've spoken to, parents that have come to the board about incidences with the articulation agreement. So personally, I can't move forward to accept what is here before me tonight, and I just want to put it on record why I can't do it, and this is why. I think, and it's no negative feedback to the people at our district that works on this agreement. I know they work very hard, and I will say if it wasn't for the committee at our district on this agreement, myself personally, my son probably would have had a different outcome. So kudos to them for what they do. But I hope that maybe this will open up another avenue to where Central Florida will sit down with us or with the district team and go, hey, we did it for another county, which they say they didn't in here, but I looked it up and I researched, and it is there in another county that they've agreed to. You know, they're gaining our students, and they're gaining monetarily from us for our students. So I just want to go on record, that's why I'm doing and saying what I am tonight.
Can you elaborate and say what exactly it is that they can do more on?
I went through the whole thing and kind of sectioned it out. One of the things that's most concerning is time frame when you have to file a petition. If you don't like a grade, or you're going for a W, or there's an error, it's a long process on their end. And when they finally do get back to you, it's too late. You know, I know a student who is at UF right now who had no resources, didn't know the avenues to take, and wanted to withdraw from a class, submitted it to the proper people, but the instructor did not get back to that student within the time frame after the deadline to withdraw, and they didn't show her compassion or grace. And this is a student now at UF that could have gained so much more benefit from staying in dual enrollment, but because she had a W, CF said no. And like I said, our people here at district, they fight, and they fight hard. And I think maybe we can open up an avenue that Central Florida will go, let's sit back and see if we can't give Levy County School Board a little bit more. That's my thoughts.
That's the question.
Yes, sir.
So we're bound to an articulation agreement. We can't choose another option, am I right?
It goes back into statute where the community college system is set geographically. So, which is part of the reason why when the student wants to choose to go to Santa Fe, we have to have agreement and blessing on CF's side. So, yes, sir, that is correct. That would be a statutory and really would be a legislative agenda item. So, which I know that we've had some conversations.
Right, which would lend to help and what you're trying to talk about to negotiate and leverage with. But when they got handcuffs around us, it says you have to be in my bucket unless I let you out of my bucket. So, I mean, I understand it's been a weird scenario based on politics for a long time. But are we under contract and articulation agreement now still?
Yes, sir.
For how long?
So through the rest of this school year. So, and it's going, the idea, so their articulation agreement, their side is going to CF's board the end of April, the 28th, I believe, was the date. So, and like I said, we just as of last Thursday have a new contact person to deal with at CF. And I believe our relationship will be a little bit more beneficial because we've seen a quicker response on emails and any type of reaching out. I think CF knows that there's a sense of urgency and that they need to do a little bit better to Levy County.
I would say the statutory requirement is we cannot deny an articulation agreement that an institution wants to come into with us. So that's why we do have an articulation agreement with UF and Santa Fe and Central Florida. The statutory requirement is August 1st. We must give that articulation agreement to DOE. So there's a time crunch by statute.
So in the articulation agreement, my issue too is when the child isn't paying for the class, the school board's paying for the class. So when they withdraw, I don't know why the college would say, like I've spoken to you about before, you know, you've withdrawn, you're out of dual enrollment. Because, I mean, that's really my issue also with it.
It is also tax dollars that have been spent. So I shared with you that we're working on some scenarios with that, and we're taking a look at that. Obviously, we've had parents that have come. I'm not at the point to share publicly what my proposal is to solve that solution, but it is being worked on.
Right, and like Ms. Boyle said, I mean, you've had some kids that are on their own and don't have advocates, don't have parents that don't get in there and fight for them, and those, I just want what's good for the goose to be good for the gander and be, uniform for everyone, so.
I will share that it's no secret. Santa Fe comes onto our campuses and provides great academic advising specifically, and that's been one of the sticking points. That issue has been raised with CF, and CF now understands that they're willing to come on to Chiefland Middle High School and provide academic advising. So.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. There's no further discussion with the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Comes down to me. I feel like we are bound by articulation agreements and we have no choice, and I hate that because I agree with you said. And what Mr. Etheridge said, I feel like they get to control the bucket more than we do, and I don't like that. But statute is statute, so I will vote in favor. Motion carries. We'll now move on to our consent agenda. Ms. Clemenza, we'll start with you. Do you have any questions? Oh, are there any changes to the consent in the addition to? Do you have any questions, Ms. Clemenza?
I do not have any questions. I do want to say that Mr. Bergdahl will be missed. We're having for a short period of time at Wilsonville High because that's what we loved him. He's a great horticulture teacher. That's really all I have.
Mr. Etheridge?
No, sir, all of it been answered.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Brookins?
My questions have all been answered, and in this agenda, there's approval of contacts, and I need to, not vote on the petroleum, is that correct? Yes. So I'm abstaining from the vote on that. If we need to pull them.
Do we need to
separate,
pull
but
that? Should we pull that for separate consideration? Okay. If there is no objection, we will pull the bids for the petroleum products for a separate vote. Any objections? Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Mrs. Boyle?
All my questions have been answered. I talked with Mr. Coward earlier, and Katie Jones will be missed at Chiefland Middle as well. And that's all I have, Mr. Asper.
Thank you. All my questions have been answered. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. Any more questions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now proceed to discuss the bids on petroleum products. Has everyone had a chance to read over those? We have Mr. Eastman here. Do you need to offer anything to it, or is it fairly cut and dry in your opinion?
Fairly cut and dry. It's the same cost. The markup is what we agreed to 2 years ago. So we keep the same markup.
Thank you, Mr. Eastman. I will entertain a motion to approve the recommendations.
I move to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Keep in mind, Ms. Brookins will not be voting on this. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We will now move over to Kim Lake's classmate at Bronson High School and fellow graduate. Of course, he's a lot older than her, Superintendent Coward.
Everything was true except for that last statement. So, first thing I'd like to bring up. So we committed to master board training. So, and we've never got calendared. With that, I have a wonderful proposal after talking to Tina Pinkerson that really and truly, we have one new member of our team. And so instead of doing 20 hours, we're going to have the opportunity to do either one full 8-hour day or 2 4-hour days. So I'm
outstanding.
proposing that we just go ahead and do one 8-hour day and get it knocked out, with which they would provide lunch to us. So if you could look at your calendar and I'm not going to let you leave tonight.
Why are you looking at me? I was gonna say, can we get back on you? Yeah.
What's the proposed dates?
So
Can we circle back? That's the big phrase. Can we circle back?
let's go with this. What day is best during the week?
Friday, but to work for Paige, right, Paige?
Friday's awful for me.
Is it? Okay, not Monday. Mondays, I can do Mondays.
I'm more of a Wednesday guy. I'm gonna make it difficult. I'm more of a Wednesday guy.
Monday.
I don't do calendars, so you just tell me when I'll be.
Yeah, I like Wednesdays, but we'll figure it out.
How about a Saturday? Okay. Well, so will Wednesday work?
Like, in what month?
Yeah, when?
Okay.
We don't have two left.
I will circle back with you and give you, I'll make sure Wednesday is good for her. So, and,
Yeah.
how about a Wednesday in July?
July? We're gonna put it off that long?
Well, wait a minute,
Okay.
then we can't get our award in June.
Okay.
Oh, good
The
Lord.
conference.
I will have a Wednesday in May for you. So,
That doesn't really matter.
I was thinking June,
Early
but
May.
I ain't worried about the award. Well, I won't be selfish. You know, May, myself and the superintendent, we have children graduating high school. And I didn't believe,
Yeah.
yes, and Mr. Etheridge does too. I have two, and I didn't believe people when they told me it's awful when they're seniors. It's awful. May is a pretty solid book at the Asbell House, but we'll make whatever works work, because I don't want Miss Brookings not to get her award.
No, I don't care, but I mean, we've done it before, I'm just saying that's, there's gonna be so many that are already finished with it in June, but I mean, I can do, that's fine with me. And it
Yeah,
really
but
is
if we
about
get
what
it in
works for
December,
everybody.
we'll all be dressed very nice and be festive.
It's about what works for everybody, it's fine with me.
Mr. Cowart, can you look at some possible dates and circle back to us? And
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you,
I
sir.
highly recommend May 5th or 12th, but I'm just,
I would too, I'd highly say 5th or 12th.
we don't have any graduations on Wednesday nights.
We don't. So,
We got something on the 12th at Bronson. I don't remember what it is. I may have my dates.
All right.
Appreciation week that week, so you may run into.
But it'll be at night time.
okay. I
We'll make it work.
will circle back with a Wednesday date for everyone
Thank
We
you.
will have it
Thank you. Thank
on the
you.
calendar.
Thank you, good Eagle Cowart.
Okay. The next thing is I want to share with you all that through cooperation and the partnership with the Sheriff's Office, so Lieutenant Long back there, we met with the sheriff and came to the conclusion that we weren't quite ready to go off to DC, but we did want our students to have the opportunity to have a trip. So we have a trip in the works, and we have it offered to both the fifth graders this year that are safety patrol, plus those that were safety patrol last year. And we're working on coming up with numbers of that. That trip will be based out of Orlando. It will do 1 day in St. Augustine, 1 day to the Cape Canaveral, and 1 day to Universal.
4 days down to Florida Wildlife.
Florida Wildlife. So with that, so it would be a 4-day, 3-night trip. And so I just wanted to let you know that we were working in cooperation with the sheriffs and with the safety patrol to provide our kids that opportunity. So, and those that missed out last year to have that. The other thing is on Thursday, Miss Carroll, the CTE, and throughout Levy County, every kid 6th through 12th grade will have the opportunity to attend the Levy Career Expo. And it's going to be a virtual event, but we've had businesses that have created videos, and it's going to be an experience for them. So, and I made sure with our student that we saw today that Mr. Gauss knew to make sure that student had the opportunity to attend that and see to that. Just like we want all of our students to be able to expand their horizons and see what careers are out there and what opportunities are out there with that. And with that, I just want to, there's a lot of times that we get bogged down in just the minutia. How great is it to see 3 kids like that represent our county, and obviously a teacher that has such passion and love for them. So, and yes, I know she is an Eagle graduate, so we're all thankful for that. We're thankful for all of our Levy County graduates. I think that's one of the things, that a kid is not limited by graduating from Levy County School, that they have the opportunity to go off and do great big things, or they can stay here and truly impact lives. And there's a lot of people here that impact lives. So Mr. Lott's done a great job with this Chiefland project, and he's going to be, the effects of his hard work is going to be a lasting generational effect on a lot of kids in Chiefland. And so with all of them, I just appreciate everybody's efforts. And then the last thing is, I know that we've talked, and I sent the email out, the executive order that went out on Friday, and our district is digging through. We met yesterday with principals, and we'll continue again tomorrow to meet to kind of dig through that. It is going to create some relief for our students, but it is going to create some work for us here at the district and on the school level to make sure that we're the ones that are signing off, which is fine. They're giving us some local control, but it is still some extra hoops that we're going to have to jump through to kind of show and make sure our students are proficient and ready to be graduates. But with that, testing has been going on, and kudos to Ms. Lewis. She has jumped in. We had a little hiccup last week where AT&T went down, and we were real close to finishing testing. And I know that threw her into a panic mode at her first day of testing, but she handled it like a champ, just like all of our testing coordinators did. So she is from Williston. She's a great Red Devil, and she's been a welcome addition here at the district office. So, and the last thing I'm going to mention publicly, 2 people, not that all of our testing coordinators do, but we had a horrible, just a life-changing issue for a Williston Middle High School staff member. And Jen Dola and Amber Philpott have really risen to the challenge there, and just kudos to them. So thank you for them.
Thank you, Mr. Coward. We'll move to board comments. We'll start with Ms. Boyle.
In reference to Cedar Key, the Arts Festival is this weekend, so that's Saturday and Sunday. I believe both days. I asked Mr. Coward to start about 10.
10 to 5.
10 to 5.
Yeah.
And those little coupon booklets that I mentioned, I still have a few of those. So if you wanted one of those, you could use that if you made your trip down to Cedar Key. So that's going on. And they're winding down softball and baseball. So that's good. The girls softball team won last night. They did very well. They were ahead so much that they had to call it the end of the 5th. So that was nice to see. And I'd like to echo about Miss Katie's class. I'm beyond thankful that she's getting to teach that class in person, and they're not taking it and making it virtual and putting it at the campus, because Miss Katie changed my son's life with this class. Literally changed his life. And without her, he would be where he is right now. And, you know, I've been through all the papers that she gives out, and she does different stuff every year. And these kids just, they need it. They're like sponges, and she does it very, very well. I'd like to say that. The other thing, back to some of the training that I've been going to, hearing the different districts and talking to different people and board members, I've listened to a lot of them discuss workshops and such, and how it's a great communicator. You know, not only it gives, I think, board members a perspective as to what the district kind of does, but it also can reach community members and go, oh, well, I didn't know that they had to do it that way, and it reaches them that way. One system that came in, before I was up here was the Frontline, the subs system that the schools use, the district uses. And if we could maybe talk about or discuss having some type of workshop on that, I think it would be a great start. Just something I'm throwing out there, just some thought processes that I've been going through as a new member, and how to get more communication to stakeholders and students, and maybe even to us, and yes, me, because I'm a newbie. But those are my thoughts. Thank you, that's it.
Thank you. Mrs. Brookins?
I think we've had some great reports on Chiefland schools today, and just really proud of the progress and the building and updates and the students and teachers, and very, very, very thankful for them and all that they do. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Etheridge?
Glad we live in the state and county we live in, and I'm looking forward to graduation.
So,
That's it.
You guys have covered most everything. Testing, Yankeetown, I talked to Ms. First today, and she said they've had a very successful testing week, and a lot going on down there. There's a big book there, a spring fling, a basket auction, a cake auction for the safety patrol. So wrapping up, finishing strong. I think we have 6.5 weeks left for the end of the year. And to echo what everyone else said, the three kids that were here tonight were just so beyond impressive, and we're fortunate enough at Williston to have Ms. Gowland do the same and have the same impact with the kids there. So very fortunate to have teachers like Ms. Corbin, Ms. Gowland in Levy County. I want to give a shout out to the maintenance department and Breezy for answering my phone calls well after 8 p.m. at night several times lately. So they just work around the clock, and just a great team that we have over here at the district office. And I think that's prayers from Ms. Hamley, the teacher at Williston that is a wonderful science teacher to one of my kids. So we're just praying for her.
thank you. I will jump also on the bandwagon of Katie Corbin. Naturally, I'm proud of her because she's an Eagle. I'm proud of her because she's a Chief of Indian too. A year ago, I commented on how great a job she did, and I got phone calls from other graduation coaches about that. I'm gonna say it again tonight. Katie is the standard. And I will speak from my own situation. I have 2 kids graduating high school this year. One kid has amazing dreams of where he wants to go to school and all that. And I have been fortunate in that Katie's my friend. We went to high school together. I have Katie's phone number. Katie's my friend on Facebook. I have her email, all that. Katie has helped me with my son because I needed to know, hey, how do we do this? What's this next step? And usually finding out about that happens at about 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night or whenever. And she is there to answer that question. And she answers it for me, not because I'm not special. She answers it for me. She answers it for other people. And I asked her about it. I said, can I ask you about being a graduation coach? And she goes, yeah, what you want to know? I said, when does it end and when does it start? How's it work? She goes, starts when I wake up and ends when I go to bed. She goes, it doesn't have a set hour. And I think that is something to pay attention to, because if we truly are going to stick by what we say and have these kids college and career ready, take somebody like Katie Corbin. It's not a job that ends at 4 o'clock. It's a job that takes a lot out of you. We don't pay her all that much. Really, teachers don't get paid near what teachers ought to get paid, and we can't help that. But she told me, she goes, it's not about that. It's about that in 15 years, 20 years, 5 years, a kid will come up to her and say, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. She goes, that's worth more than gold. And I was like, I admire that. As the year winds down, there's some things that I like to think about. It's good to be in Florida, and it's really good to be in Levy County. You see on the news all the time, schools are still talking about opening back up. We are open. And it seems like just the other day, we were starting this year up and we didn't know what was going to happen, and now it's getting over. And we have had I would like to say, a spectacular year. It's been amazing what we've done. And things that I have enjoyed I think all of us enjoy. I've been able to go to ball games and see kids be kids. After last year, those kids didn't get to be any of those things. They didn't get to do those things after the pandemic broke out. We're going to have a prom. I think every school's having a prom. They didn't get to have a prom last year. And too often we take it for granted. I think it's very special for these kids, and I think it's outstanding. Speaking specifically to Bronson Middle High School, they're going to do something a little different this year. We always see, like, when you're an outstanding athlete like Brad Etheridge was, you get scholarships offered to you to all these colleges, and they make a big deal that the athlete is signing up to go to wherever. At Bronson High School, they're going to recognize kids that are enrolling scholastically and achieving scholarships for scholastics. They're going to recognize that with a special night. They're going to recognize kids going into the military or choosing a vocational path, because those kids deserve to be just as celebrated, not knocking your athletes, but those kids deserve just as much recognition, just as much celebration, and just as much pat on the back as the kid running the football or shooting the basketball or hitting the baseball. So that's kind of spectacular that we're going to be doing that. I am proud to say we are doing that. All that being said, I am in total agreement with Mr. Etheridge. I'm glad to see it winding down and getting ready to graduate. I think it's an outstanding time, and I appreciate everybody tonight. And it's been a good meeting. If there's no further business, meeting adjourned.